Hello?
Cal.
Hello?
Hey.
Excellent. We're ready for another round, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how you do, Nada. You're like, all right, time to do this. Time to do it again. We gotta keep doing it.
You gotta keep doing it.
We gotta keep doing it. I love consistency. Yes, I'm loving it. I'm already feeling your energy. I know we're already 2 minutes before the call, but geez, ladies, if you could feel our energy, you would already be here.
Right.
And we're gonna be so excited when you do come because we are already loving your energy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely loving it.
I also want to say, Nada, as we start the call, just to give people an idea, I know a lot of people do these calls with you, but afterwards they're kind of like, oh, can I hook up with her? Can I talk to her? Can you talk a little bit about that before we start the call with our callers?
That's actually something I'm really working on to see how I can do something in the post itself. However, if you, outside of giving them my direct number, I really don't know how else they can get.
Yeah, I know that they can actually reach you through Woman Arise at Yahoo. That people who have actually you friended, as we know, with your energy, you actually do so quite selectively. You already know there's a group that you have even in social media. If they were to contact you via messenger, you can give them even further personal information. I think that's the thing. We're just trying to say before we start the call tonight, anyone who might have just jumped on, but in general, you can reach her. So if you go on to S.H.E Speaks with Nada Crystal and you actually add to her page and start to talk to her, you two, can kind of reach her. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is actually quite accurate. Also, honestly, one of the most straightforward ways and quickest ways to actually get me is actually my direct number.
Okay. I would say once you make that initial access with her, you can then move on to the number. I know how you are, Nada. You're really, really mad, personable, and everything. Just, your energy's on point, man. So I would just say once you really feel like you're connecting with her on these calls, and we're getting ready to start actually in a few seconds, but once you feel like you're connecting with her on these calls, I would really welcome you to connect with her via social media, via her messenger, and then just kind of send a note like, hey, I was really feeling you. And, move further into how to kind of get your life jump-started if you're resonating with something. I don't think resonating with anything is a coincidence. So before we started the call, I just kind of wanted to start there because we will also have our call on YouTube, and people might be interested in getting being able to reach Nada. So anyway, are we ready?
We are ready.
I'm always so amped, Nada, right? I'm like your groupie in the front row. Nada and I have done a couple of these calls, and I have to tell you, I actually do them for the energy high. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I love it. So I'm just going to jump right in, and is this the phenomenal stop posting your pain call we've been waiting for?
Yes, it is.
Because I'm really amped about this, okay? So let me explain to you all why I'm excited, and I'm going to make it short because I really want to hear what Nada has to say, but I used to be a post-your painter. I was a victim. Life always kind of had me in its clutches. I was always looking outside for who did me wrong and what happened, blah, blah, blah. So I wasn't right on, Facebook right away, but I was a post-your painter even in phone messages. I was like, hi, it's me. Going through it, but I'm going to make it, right?
Absolutely.
Horrible victim message, and I'm not saying victim like how I spoke, but even my energy at that call, right? I'm like, oh, God, man, I'm breathing, So I was really interested in this call because I think Facebook has become a modern-day version of that phone call that you would delete from a post you're paying her. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. So
Right.
with that, because I'm already feeling Nada getting woo. So with that, I'm not even going to go any further. Nada, what do we got?
Okay. Thank you so much, Cal, my lovely, lovely co-host, Cal. Okay, so...
and fans.
Okay, and fans. Okay, so the posting you're paying call. You and I have discussed this several different times, that this is a call that we actually wanted to do, because we have seen such an influx, just an increase in, posting such, delicate and, intimate, details about one's life on social media. And honestly, it's almost as though I'm not too much on Twitter, but I'm definitely on Facebook, of course, for
right.
promo reasons. I'm definitely on there, and I'm really
outreach there too.
Huh?
I said I would say you also do good outreach there though too, because you're always authentic in your postings, trying to get people to reach their better self.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has really actually become this. I would even venture to say, for some people, it has become their church. For some people, it has become their temple. For some people, it has really become their lifeline. And why I can understand the immediate gratification that that initial support provides. In the long run, it really is counterproductive, because and people say, well, I post all the time, and I have X amount of friends on Facebook or followers, and they really support me. They know what I'm going through. That's fine. That is fine if that is your view. If that is your stance on it, okay, fine. However, what I really want to look at is, what is the energetic consequence of doing that? Okay, and as you and I both know, because we chat about it often, about just the basis of everything in existence, of course, on an energetic level, from an energetic perspective, and that does not leave out social media. Social media, is a global platform. And you have energies all over the world tapping into Facebook. And while I don't want to say people don't have your best interest, but that is the reality of some people. So my whole thing is, if your aim is to get out of a situation, or you need some advice on a situation, Facebook really is not the place to put pain as you're processing through it. I would say, if you're going to post something about a challenge or a struggle or something, I would say post it when you have processed through it, to use it as inspiration, because now you're actually, showing that you've been through it, you know how to, navigate it, and you're just your own witness in your own, evolution, right?
I really love what you have to say about that. And actually, part of, has anyone heard any tapping in the background? It's me on my laptop.
Okay.
Because I'm always taking notes when I'm on a call with Nada. So, but some of the things that I'd actually written down was that, resonated for me is, if that's your stance, fine. But, what is the energetic consequence? I mean, that's really powerful. And then you followed it up with, you have to understand all bases from energetic level. And then, social media, you said it's a global platform. You have energies all over tapping in. Nada, that just hit me kind of like a brick, right? We are constantly stuck in our small circle. And I don't think that people understand that, even when they say, I don't know anyone international, it doesn't matter. All the energies are tapping in. And I'm not going to get into all the esotericness that you and I love to, but on a very basic level, Nada, I appreciate that last statement. Social media, okay, for those listening, social media is a global platform, she said, and you have all energies all over tapping in. Nada, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. When you have so many different types of energies that are tapping in, they're tapping in at the point of your trauma, per se.
Wow.
They're tapping in right at the point of what you're trying to move from. So basically what you have now created is this energetic tug of war. And you may wonder, like, after you post it, you hit that post button, you hit the click, and you're like, damn, yes, I posted it, and I know I'm going to get some awesome support. You turn off Facebook, you get off of your computer, and you begin to do the work and go inward or do the work necessary to begin to bring yourself out of it. Meanwhile, what you've created energetically on your behalf is all of this build-up at the point of trauma of that at which you posted it at. Example, I say, oh, my God, I can't believe that I caught my man cheating again. This is not a real-life situation, okay? I can't believe I caught my man cheating again. And you post it on Facebook. After you post it, you and your man, you go and you do whatever it is that you need to do, and you all begin the reconciliation phase, right? You haven't tapped back into Facebook, but off of Facebook world, in real life, you all are actually doing the work to repair your relationship, repair the trust, repair whatever it is that was broken. So now, one day you want to go ahead and go back on Facebook, and you have all of these messages. You have messages on that post, and you have messages in your inbox. What is that? What has that done? It now has the potential to circle you right back. It has the potential to circle you right back to that point of trauma of, oh my God, I can't believe I caught my man cheating again. And there's some people who are so strategic, they'll take that, and as you know, because we're like we're like lovers of linguistics, they'll take that word again and they'll play on it all day long. So now what that has done is it has caused you to now begin to rethink all the work that you just did with your man.
Yes. I so resonate with that, because especially when you said all those past messages, right, that you had posted, now hold your trauma and people will use that against you.
Basically.
And the energy that you said, this is the thing about people don't realize about energy, right? It's not even intentional. Energy is just automatic. Like, don't think for 1 second you're holding your energy and then putting it out somewhere. Like energy is always going. So you have to recognize that whole time. I love that image you gave us. You're, like, in the restaurant, right, having a really awesome dinner with your man, and you finally get everything, right? Everything makes sense. Then you go home and read a message.
Right.
Uh-oh. Why is that message making me feel some sort of way, right? Now, everybody's in your business putting follow-up posts, and now you feel in some sort of way. The ego's already crazy. We don't need to make it even crazier. Right? And I also want to ask you too, Nada, moving into the next section, as people keep talking about posting their pain, I also want to ask you about why don't you post when you're making up? Why don't we post all these, I understand the couples that do excessive happy times, and I only say that because I'm one of those annoying couples. My man and I aren't perfect, but, man, our times are good. If you look at our page, you almost feel like you were at the party. You know what I mean? But I would say, also, but we also don't put up those sentimental moments, right? Like, how come you're not as fast to say, I couldn't make it home for dinner, so he cooked it? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with those posts? Can we talk about that, or, am I going to the shallow place?
You know what? The only thing I can say about that is, for some people, it may be that moment where they have that glimpse of privacy. You know, they may have that glimpse of privacy and say, oh, okay, well, because we're working on it, I'm gonna keep our business to ourselves. When that mindset really could possibly be that same mindset that can detour what's building up on your Facebook and what's actually building up energetically. It's being strategic in that in which we share and understanding the intention. What I've kind of witnessed here is that when we go into the initial posting of the pain, it is most times it is that initial human need of release and gratification.
Right.
And so what it really boils down to is just really finding another outlet. Even if you need to write it in a journal, on a piece of paper, or just get it out of your psyche, because that really is what's pulling. That's one of the reasons that I see that people are pulled to post it on Facebook, because it is an instant form of gratification and release. Right. But they don't look at the other side of that. You know, like, okay, once I post this, you know, people are going to get into talk about it, and then they're going to put their spin on it, their opinions and what they think, you know, and then they're going to begin to suggest what it is I should do.
What'd you say? They're going to put their what? Their skin on it?
Spin.
I would even say skin on it, because, like, as you said, spin, I was like, oh my God, like, in a sense, it also feels like your spiritual DNA.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's almost like every time we're on the computer, or every time we're saying our thoughts, and I'm not going to get too much into this because I know I'm getting in my metaphysics zone, but you know how you do me, Nada. There is a moment where they're going to put their own spin on it, but I would even challenge you to say their own skin on it. Because once somebody imprints your thoughts, they have imprinted a piece of your DNA, and I don't think that we take energy seriously enough to do that. And I will admit to you, I at one point didn't, but I've had really great spiritual leaders. I've had good sister friends. I mean, shoot, don't even talk to me about my first conversation with Nada when I was like, geez, I gotta rethink some things, right? Like, but I've had a great thing. So I would say that too. So how do we guard against this spiritual spin, aka skin?
You know
This cyber spiritual infiltration. Can I put it that way?
Yeah, that is an absolute excellent way to actually say that. And you know what? You actually bring up a really great point. That when you do that, we all have some form of energetic signature. We all do, and at times it fluctuates, to kind of match where it is that we are. But we basically have a basic energetic signature, and when we have moments where it spikes up due to some kind of trauma, if you will, or some kind of disruption, and we place it in social media, that's where it kind of sticks. It kind of sticks there. So now your signature at a spiked up level is now in cyber world, and that's where people are going to meet you at. People are going to meet you at that spike. So the only thing that I can really say is, before you reach for that, social media gratification and release, reach for something else. Reach for, again, your journal. Go outside, walk barefoot, get grounded, go out screaming your pillows. I mean, do some other form of release, whether it's meditation, some visualization, some chanting, some mudras. Do something else to move yourself from that space, so you don't feel the need to share that pain on such a large scale.
That's so true. Yeah, that's so true. And while you were saying it, I was writing down, you said, it's when we replace it. It's not a problem in itself understanding the energetic signature, right? Or having an energetic signature. But you said it's when we replace it in social media that we get met at the spike at the point we post.
Mhm.
And then you said, so what spike do you want to be met at? That's really powerful, right?
Wow.
Because now I see the image in my head where I'm like, oh, sheesh. Oh, I wish I wasn't met at that spike. I can think of a few brothers that messaged me where I was like, oh, I should have never posted at that spike, right? And that's really, you know what I mean? So basically what you said at the end of that message was head to a new platform. Okay. Yeah. So then this is what I want to ask you. Saying I'm where I was or where sometimes, and I won't even say where I was because that's even condemning. You see what I'm saying? Like, where sometimes I am. Don't tell me ain't none of us make a post for attention at some point, right? So say I'm in the process of about to post my pain. What can I do at that moment to not even say I'm going to not do the post, but to say, how can I make this post more to my benefit? Go ahead. Talk to us.
Right. So, excellent question. The first thing that I would ask myself is, the first thing that I would ask myself definitely before I go into this post is, how is this post going to benefit me? After I hit this post button, how is it going to benefit me right now, and how is it going to benefit me in the long run? And am I okay with that consequence or that repercussion or that benefit? See, because we're such autopilot, and some of us have not done the work to regain control of our emotions, and we're still being driven by our emotions, that pause before we post something is non-existent. Right. So we'll go straight from being pissed off to being angry to being hurt to being, want to pick the world up and drop it, and we'll go straight to Facebook and we'll post it. And then now, and posting really serves as you have heard me say before, posting serves as our exhale. That's posting serves as our exhale, but guess what? That exhale now has your energetic signature spike, and it's there in cyber world for everybody to post on it. So now every time someone posts on it, it's a remembrance of where you were. And if that's the kind of attention you want energetically, then I say go for it. If that's the kind of attention that you want, then okay. But it all really revolves around the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture here? Do I want to do this, in the moment, gratification, or do I really want to take the time and pause and actually do something that's really productive, for not just this moment, but just overall when this moment happens again, because it will. Right.
No, it's so true, and I find that, have you ever gone down, people will go down your feed, right? And there's a point where your feed either looks consistent or it looks crazy, and if crazy is who you are, good. Be true to who you are. If consistent is who you are, good. Be true to who you are. But if you start going down your feed and things start looking opposite of who you are, then you really need to start checking yourself on social media, because chances are that inconsistency, even in what you're sending, is something that got triggered from somewhere you're acting out traumatically on your page. And I'm not saying everything's trauma, but I'm saying something's coming out on your page. Is that fair to say, Nada? I don't want to get crazy, but I am saying that what I've noticed is that literally if you go down my page, I'm a great mixture of socially conscious, academic, and that shit, and then just wherever I'm at. But it's consistent. Do you see my point?
Right.
Oh, it's Monday. She's going to put up the, she's going to put up this. You know what I mean? You always pretty much, I'm saying when you're getting so inconsistent that you're attention-seeking in your posts, I would just say I want to bring it back to your last quote. You said it's when we replace it in social media that we get met at the spike. So what spike do you want to be met? And then you followed it up with head to a new platform. I'm going to bring it back here. What are we replacing? Because I think women don't understand all the things sometimes we replace with social media. Is it companionship, food, addiction?
Wow.
What are we replacing?
Yeah, see, and you know what, honestly, that is really a loaded response. It is three different, variables and factors that, can go into answering that. But I will answer it just from a generalized, perception.
That's why I love you.
Most times when we go and we have those moments where we feel like we need to post it on Facebook, and just as you said, if we were to go down our feed and we see just a whole bunch of sporadicness, I really don't know no other way to say this except that that's a reflection of where your thought patterns, are and how they behave. So really it's about doing that inner work. Honestly, I mean, it comes right back to dealing with self, because if social media is your therapist, if social media is your guide or your teacher or your religion, I'm going to go there because people are on there religiously and they take that advice to heart, and and that's good if you have connected with someone that you've tested through your own filters and through your own intuition, and your higher self had gave you the thumbs up to confide in this person. Go for it. But if you are on Facebook and you're consistently use it as your religion, then something within you really is missing. There is a void that's there that's being filled very, very temporarily by Facebook. But instead of doing the work to, address what that void is, that person prefers to take the quote-unquote easy route, which is that very temporary gratification. So it boils right back, it comes right back around to those concepts of self-awareness, self-esteem, self-value, and self-worth. If those four are not in balance, then that is why I believe, we've begun to see an influx of posting the pain. And then, it really gets me sometimes when people do that. They have a habit of, using the social media, as their religion, and then they come right back around and say, well, I don't know why I'm still in this. I do. That is because I do.
Oh God. I'm awkward. Oh geez.
I do. That is because your energetic imprint that you've left from that last post. Again, it is a global platform, so everybody's not seeing it at the same time. So when we see it, people on the other side of the world sleep. So then when they see it, and then they want to post on it, and then put their imprint on it, and then you go look at it, and because you haven't done that work inwardly, your ego comes right back up, and it's going to put you right back in that space. But if you've done that work, then you can look at that, and you can actually address that post and say, thanks, guys, I dealt with this, close it out, or even take it off of your news feed. but because people not doing that inner work, they are bringing themselves right back around to it, Cal.
I do. I agree, and I think that close it out point that you bring up is very important. I think people need to get to a point where they're not afraid to close it out. If you've grown past a point, listen, people, if you look at my feed, some will be sunshine and roses, some will not. But the posts that I really didn't want to reflect my growth or where I might have been stationary at one point, I deleted. You have the freedom to delete what you put out there, and I know that it's hard for people to understand because people are still trying to understand, honestly, not a word sound power. I mean, if we really get to it, people still don't understand that your words speak vibrations that have intentions that mess you up, right? I'm not going to go into right now, but I will say that when we get into stop posting your pain, that's kind of what we're saying. Do you want to be the victim or the victor, right? Do you want to be the person that does all the teaching through your messed upness, or become the teacher?
Right.
Like, in another way, through your healing, because anyone can teach when they're fired up, right? We all love, I have to say, okay, so there was this recent article on the Hotep man that basically comes in. You can claim any, cultural, spiritual, religious, whatever background you want. Just don't come in as the officiant, because the universe is a greater officiant than any of us can imagine. So when we get online and we start posting our pain, whether we are intentional or not, our energy got let out, even if just a little bit. I don't know. What do you think about that, Nana?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it is, see, that is the beautiful yet dangerous thing about energy.
Right.
Whether you intentionally mean to do it or not, it's still going to happen.
Right.
Whether you intentionally understand the consequence or not, it's still going to come back to you. So I would think that just by understanding that universal law of cause and effect, you know, I would think that most of us would take a moment and pause and really consider that outcome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really powerful. And, you know, one thing that I want to say, I know, you know, we're getting ready to open it up to the floor, so please, everyone get ready with your questions. It doesn't matter. You know, don't judge your questions. Literally, she and I teach all day. We love any question. But, you know, I do want to say this. I think that there is something to be said when you are in that space of getting ready to post your pain, and it's almost like the moment right before you hurt yourself in some other way, right? Be it drinking too much. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Nada and I are not, like, we deal with serious issues. So it could be that moment right before there's some letter somewhere that someone wished they never read. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, to that moment, I just want to say that when we say don't post your pain, it's not don't get it out. It's say, if you have one person on that feed, like, find that person and try and reach out to them. And understand this through the gift of when your energy's right, and Nada and I speak to that from the heart, right? Because how do we meet, Nada? On a blood moon on the internet.
Right. Exactly.
So if your energy is really in the space that you want it to be, like, cellular alignment is inevitable. So that's kind of what we're saying. Just make sure that your alignment is cool, whether it's the guy that you hope you meet a year from now or the friend you hope you can make up with. Just really start to look at your profile and see how that might be affecting you, and even the things you're posting and how that may define you. Is that fair to say, Nana?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would say define, but also I would say more reflecting and attracting.
I like that. Yeah, that's better.
I would say more reflecting and attracting, because if your verbiage is, I really want to, you know, I'm gonna use one of your examples, meet this, you know, this guy, or want to be in a relationship, this type of relationship, and we even put a, you know, some kind of quote unquote time frame on it. We say I want to meet this kind of guy, you know, by next year. And if you're
I want to meet this type of woman by like 2000 and blah blah blah, right?
Right. And if your news feed is contradictory to that, then it's really just kind of empty. It literally is about alignment. And even though it's social media, it's still a form of your voice. It's still a form of your thought. It's still a form of who you are. It's just reflected upon, in social media. So some people really kind of don't care, and if that's your deal, hey, cool. You really don't care, what the view is of them on Facebook, because their immediate response to that is, well, people don't know me. This is just some of who I am, and that is very true. But those pieces of who you are, depending on who's looking at them, really can say a lot.
Right.
So it really it really benefits people to really view, Facebook. Yes, it's fun, and people may say, well, you all are getting too deep, too serious. Well, if that's your stance, then that's fine. But our stance is, because we understand the energetic weight of everything that you put out there, and you wonder why things aren't progressing, then you need to check your output. You need to check your output.
Actually, you just need to check your status.
Right. That is the output.
Your status, you're going to see you're that person that you didn't want to be. I mean, that's the other benefit of social media. It's like, don't put a bunch of stuff out there and not look back to see where you've been real or unreal. That would literally be my challenge to a lot of people. Look back and see where you could have handled statuses better, or you could have had a better thought. Like, if you want to use Facebook for therapy, use it for self-reflection. I mean, honestly, to me, we're crazy, Nada. You and I all day, we're like, okay, how is this going to benefit my life? So, and we'll find ridiculous reasons, like she and I called each other up one night. Oh, let's watch Alice in Wonderland. Oh, that can benefit our life. Like, okay, you make excuses. But we found gems in that. All I'm saying is, why can't you do the same thing with Facebook, Nada? Why can't we look back and learn from our tragic mistakes, and can we? Talk to me, Nada. I need it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That is so true, and your statement actually brings up another point. I'm not going to get deep into it, because that's going to be another one of our calls, and it is about the, how can I say this? You may want to help me on this one, Cal. It is about the status of the sisterhood, because I can call you, and there are moments, and see, wait, hold on. So this is the thing. See, this is the thing. Even with people being teachers and being healers and being like all these awesome things, we still have moments where we need guidance, right? So I know there's been several times where I personally have had to call you before I actually made an energetic imprint and caused a consequence that later on down the road, I would have regretted, honestly.
Can I just say right now, we ain't trying to self-promote, but we do have covenants. And that's next. And that's what Nada's talking about. We made rules with ourselves where we had to do things, and I've had to act on those calls too. So continue. I just want the ladies to have a frame of reference that we literally got so embedded in our sisterhood, in being the best in every area, that we made promises. You know what I mean? So so go ahead. So you have a sister. You've got those promises. Right. Yeah, I mean,
definitely. And again, this is the benefit of having that trusted sister or that trusted friend that you can confide in, where you can let yourself out, let yourself loose, and understand that energy that's the output is actually safe, because it's going to this person. They're not going to misuse it. They're not going to use it against you. And the intention is, and the intention is for help. Even though the intention on placing on Facebook is help too, but your stage is so large that you set yourself up again to that 5 days from now, 5 months from now, you're going to have people still commenting on it, and it possibly putting you back in that frame of mind if that inner work hasn't been done. So having an established sister or having an established friend, a trusted friend that you can trust on all levels of yourself is so very important.
It is.
And, you know, it is so very important.
It's like, I'm so feeling you right now, and the reason why I'm feeling her, and actually, you know, we're going to kind of end on this wonderful note because we do want to take calls, but what I was going to say is Nada and I are the females that said we didn't really have female friends.
Right.
And, you know, I see this because I think a lot of women go there because they haven't energetically aligned with other powerful women. And so when we invite you to our calls, it's not learn from us. It's, hey, how about we get together as energetic women, right? It's really from that basis of a lot of us haven't found out yet. I mean, Nada and I have few friends personally that we trust and call. And I can tell you that one hand will not even fill them up. That's how close our circle is, but only because our energy has become so acute. And a lot of people make you believe that that's when you shed things, but that's actually when you gain things. So, you know, I just want to move from this idea of extra to my needs, like enough. Like this idea of enough, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's 7:39. We've got a lot of people that have probably called in. And I just want to, before we get into calls, for people that might have just joined that, is it okay if I take a couple seconds to go through what we discussed and kind of recap in case something happens? Okay. So,
absolutely, yeah.
You know, from the beginning, we started talking about how posting your pain becomes unproductive, and that you can follow those people, but what does that say for your energy? And one of the things that Nada told us is that if that's your stance, fine, but what is the energetic consequence? So we kicked right off on the energy with the energetic consequence. And Nada said you have to understand all basis from energetic level. She said social media is a global platform, and you have energies all over tapping in. So to this we say, what is your aim? Do you want to stay in the pain or do you want to get out of it? So make sure your posts are processed for information. We reviewed positive versus negative channels, energy tapping in globally, and then we said, what happens if you actually get off Facebook and do the internal work, right? Because once you post on Facebook, one of the things that Nada told us is the energy buildup is still happening from your post, but your post might not be where you are now, right? You sit with that person, you talk with them, life is good, and your post still has this negative energy. So we have to understand the energetic signature, which is what that is. It's state. It's like cyber spin, or as we discussed, skin. So how do we protect ourselves, right? We head to a new platform. So as we head to the end of this call of cyber influence, is it positive or negative? One thing that we want to say is, do you have a trust guide? Where are you at with social media? What's your biggest weaknesses? So we're going to let you start thinking about those things as we open up the call in about 4 minutes. But before we open up the call, I just want to say, you know, Nada, some of the notes I took as I said, how can I make gain from really seeing my dark side on social media? Because, you know, some people will want to go right to shame. So how do we really stop that and see the gain before we open up the call?
Yeah, see, again, because shame and guilt has not been properly taught and separated. Many people may be dancing the line of both of them or think they're in one of them but actually in another. So, and so just to clarify, of course, you know, real quickly, guilt really is just, oh my God, I can't believe I did this bad thing, quote unquote. Shame is, oh my God, I can't believe I'm bad. Shame just personalizes it, and guilt is the object of that thing that was, you know, done.
And when guilt kicks in, we often say, not only I can't believe that I did not do that, but I don't deserve to even make up for it.
Right.
I mean, that's shame. Shame is like, I can't even make up for it. Guilt says, actually, this really sucked. How am I going to make it better? Guilt has hope, while shame doesn't.
Exactly. You are absolutely correct. So all of that really just circles back around to doing the work with self, being honest with yourself first and foremost, because it really doesn't matter what you post on Facebook. And this is like the danger, if you will, or like the caution. You can put different faces and different masks on Facebook, but when you close up your computer, when you shut it down, you still have to deal with yourself.
Right.
You still have to deal with the real of what the situation is.
Right.
So instead of going through all of those loops, instead of having needing to go back and tie up all those energetic loose ends that you've now created because of that post, why not take the time to do the work with yourself
so that the post can actually be proper? I mean, honestly, I've seen people read my posts and they don't even know how to put a negative comment because I've already been logistical. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically logistical. I was like, here's where I am. I'm sharing this with you because if you're there too, you could do this. And I'm telling you, life doesn't end. There's a difference in that post.
It is.
Versus my post from, I'll say, when I first started Facebook. I remember I read back a post that said, why do people not see the brilliance in, listen, girl, I can't even get through that post. I erased that ish.
Right.
I erased
it.
Exactly. I was like, wow. But it was so, at the same time, really like going back in a journal. It was like I didn't go back to degrade myself. I went back to say, oh, my gosh, that's why you hate this girl today. Because you were her. And that's okay, and it's actually hilarious. So, just before we open up, I just wanted to speak for 1 minute about because I really feel women experience so much shame. Just tell us it's okay. Tell us it's okay, Anata.
It is. You know what? It is going to be okay, and it is okay. It is okay to express. It is okay to get your pain out. All of that is okay, but I like how you just gave that example. If you're going to use Facebook, definitely use it in the manner of this is where I am, this is where I was, this is what I'm dealing with, but this is how I'm dealing with it. So it is a balance, and being a Libra, that is what I aim for. It's really counterproductive to leave it as this is what I'm dealing with and this is where I am. Bam. You're right there in your energy. But if you were to put this is where I am, this is what I'm dealing with, and this is how I'm dealing with it, it balances the whole thing out. So now when people look at that, they don't just see you in the pain. They see you in the pain, progressing through it to learn from it, to grow from it. And that, in my opinion, is what we want to reciprocate from it.
Yes, it's magic. I can honestly say any sister I follow, and I have unfollowed many, and it's not because I'm a jerk or I'm Hasadidi, it's because I don't need that energy. But honestly, when you put up a post, Nada, you put up a post that's very, one of the things I would say to people is join S.H.E Speaks, right? Join Temple of S.H.E. There's really positive images where all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm her. You know what I mean? So I would say we need more of that. As if we got more of that self-nurturing, and that's what I did today, because I've literally called two of my sisters today like, oh, Lord, get me off the cliff, right? But, even in talking, like you when I was talking to Nada, like, just take some time for yourself today, man. You don't got to call nobody. Just at least take a bath or whatever. We're not going to get too deep into that because I'm conscious of our time. But what we're going to say right now is true to you. Social media is not a game. This is where we are, and this is where our energy lies. So when you call into S.H.E Speaks, we want to protect you. We want to make sure that everything we tell you is something that you can provide for your energy. Be careful. Be careful when you post those posts of pain or when you think you're just letting loose some steam, because that steam lasts longer than you realize. So this has been a great call from She Speaks, once again, talking about posting your pain, and we hope that you tune in next time. And we're out.